So we're going to go ahead and jump into the guide on how to use OpenTreeMap. For this part of the app, you're going to go ahead and need your smartphone and a measuring tape. Before we go actually into the website, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a few tips before we jump right into it. So the first thing we're going to need to do for OpenTreeMap using your smartphone is learn how to take good photos. Photos of these trees will be able to help us verify your identification. It's important that we know the species because different species take up different amounts of waters and provide different eco benefits. So by narrowing down, verifying your species, we can make sure that we're using the most correct data and scientific processing as we can. So the first good photo you're going to need to take is of an individual leaf. If it's a compound leaf, make sure you have all the leaflets in it. But if it's a single leaf, a simple leaf like this one over here of my Calvary pear, you can go ahead and just take a picture of a single leaf. Please remember to just pick up a leaf that you found on the ground or take an up-close picture of the leaf on the branch. It's not good to take them off of the tree. But if you do take one off of the ground, make sure that you match it up to the tree and make sure that it's the same as the one that's hanging on the branch. The next thing you're going to take a picture of is the bark. We talked about this just a second ago, and it's very important that we take a good clear photo of the bark so that we can narrow down its species. And then lastly, we're going to get a good photo of that entire tree. The crown is defined as an individual tree, but we're going to be taking a picture of the crown and the canopy. So you want to make sure that you get the whole radius of the tree, and maybe make sure that you get that background in the background, maybe a building or a house or a car or something like that, because we can actually use that as a way to verify measurement. If you're having a hard time measuring a tree, maybe just look at this house over here. If we look on the right over here, my image of the entire tree photo, you'll see I have this house in the background. The house is 1, 2, 3 stories high. The tree is about, if not a little bit less. So I can say that the tree is about 25 to 30 feet because every floor is 10 feet. That's a little tip that you can use to help while measuring the height of a tree. So the next thing you're going to have to take using your measuring tape is tree diameter. The OpenTreeMap application actually automatically converts your circumference measurement into the diameter. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your measuring tape and you're going to measure 4 feet, 4.5 feet above roots or where the trunk begins in the soil. That's going to give you breast height. And at breast height is where you want to be taking this tree diameter. So you're going to wrap your measuring tape around that new point, and then you're going to measure the circumference of the tree. And I'm going to show you where to put that into OpenTreeMap. So right now we're going to go ahead and start mapping. So go ahead and copy this URL into your OpenTreeMap, into your Google Chrome or Safari or whatever you're using, and we'll go ahead and jump right in. You're going to be using your cell phones for this part of the section rather than a laptop. Though laptops can be used, but when you're out mapping, it's very easy to just use your cell phone. So this is OpenTreeMap, as you can see. We're going to be sending you guys login information at the end of this program, so don't worry about that right now. It already has, once you've signed up, we're going to send you the information email shortly after the program. Stay tuned after that to make sure that you have the information. So to begin, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. You're going to look over here on the left, right-hand side. You're going to see that there's eco benefits, and this is what the entire point of OpenTreeMap is about. Is we calculate these trees, and we take into consideration their species, their height, and all this to give us the benefits of the that we have in our city. So when you open OpenTreeMap, it's actually going to present itself to you in Street View. Before you start, I want you to go ahead and jump into Hybrid View. And this is because then you can see all the satellite imaging where you can actually zoom in and see the individual tree that you're looking at. So this is a Calvary pear over here. And this is an American sycamore right here. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use that one as my example for today. So first thing you're going to do is hit Add Tree. You're going to hit Use Current Location. And now it's going to zoom into your current location. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and map this pine tree I have right in the back. So I'm going to drop the arrow right down there, and I want to make sure that it's in the center of the tree and its canopy. I'm going to hit Next, and then I'm going to hit Add Photos of the tree. So after you add a photo of the tree shape, the next thing you go ahead and do is add a photo of the leaf, and then a photo of the bark. Once you've input all three images, they'll light up green like this, and you're ready to go. So if you know the species, you're going to go ahead and type it in. I just so happen to know that it's an American sycamore. Oh, sorry. Yeah, an American sycamore. And then if the site is empty, though, I did want to talk to you about this. You're going to go, I'm going to show you an example. Right outside of my house, actually, there is a tree pit right over here. So this would be considered an empty site, meaning that there's no trees growing there. It might be concreted over or something like that, which is actually an option later on down. I'll show you. But, if it's concreted over, you can put in yes or no, which is really cool. But it's important to, if you see an open tree pit, to put it into the tree base also. But continuing with my American sycamore, we've now put in the three photos. We've ID'd it. If you don't know the ID, it's okay, because these photos actually get sent back to science database where scientists and researchers actually verify the IDs of these photos. So that's why these photos are super important. So after you've gotten your species and your photos in, you're going to go ahead and put in that circumference that you measured. Remember, you're measuring it 4.5 feet up from the ground at breast height. You're wrapping your measuring tape around, and you're just taking the circumference measurement. When you enter the circumference, which the circumference of my tree is 28 inches, the diameter will automatically input over here for you, so you don't even need to worry about that. So the next thing you're going to put in is the tree height, which is how tall the tree is. And then you're also going to put in the canopy height, which is that part where the first branch forms to the top. Then you can also put in the condition of the tree. This is very important for, you can put in either it's healthy, unhealthy, or dead. This is important because if it's dead, we can plant new trees and things like that, and know that it's not actually producing any eco benefits. Trees that are sick don't go through photosynthesis as much. If it has crown dieback or it has an infection and things like that, it's mainly focusing on repair. If the tree is dead, it's obviously not going through photosynthesis. So it's important to make sure that you put that information into the calculator. So my height was about 60 feet, and canopy is about 40, 35. So the next thing you can do is contact a Jersey City forester. Now, you only want to do this if it's very bad situation. There's two things you can contact the forester regarding: trees uproot, tree roots are uptaking the sidewalk, or the tree canopies and power lines. So I'm going to go ahead over here and show you guys. Sycamores are very known for this. So this is a sycamore tree outside of my house. Now, this would be an example of a case that is not that serious. As you can see, the trees are in a power line, and the roots have been uptaken. But as you can note, the trees do look like they've been pruned and shaped that way so that they're not coming in or growing new growth into those power lines. When it's time to be concerned is when an actual branch of like actual leaves and stuff is growing directly in between them and forming around it. That's when it's time to write down and mark that part of the trees are growing into the power lines. Or if the taking it to the point where it's an actual physical medical hazard. The sidewalks are concrete that you can always write down taking up the sidewalk, but always just make sure that it's a reasonable enough case to contact the forester, because we don't want to overload him with all this information for nothing. Another really cool thing that you can do is include your tree stewardship. Here you can write down if you watered, prune, mulch, clear debris, things like that, which is super important, so that we can make sure we're maintaining the health of these trees. And you can update this daily. So the last thing you're going to want to put in is information regarding plant site width and plant site length. This would let us know if the plant site is big enough for the tree. If you can imagine, as children grow and they need bigger clothes, as trees grow, they need bigger planting pits. And the reason of this example, as you can see, this planting pit is very small for a tree considerably to be 40 feet high. So a way that we could fix that is just by actually expanding the width of the planting sites. So it's very important to note the width and the size of the planting site. And then lastly, like I talked about before, if you're putting in a empty pit, you can mark if it's been concreted over or not. Go ahead and hit next. And you're going to hit I'm done. And boom, your tree is done. So now that tree is going to be calculated into my eco benefits calculator right here. And we can find all that information over here. So that's the end of today's presentation. At the end of this, you will be receiving an email and further instructions on joining the OpenTreeMap program with your login information and the GroupMe information. GroupMe is where we're going to be using as our main communication source among the tree captains. So it's very important that you guys start these accounts immediately and make sure your notifications are on, because that's just the main way you guys are going to be able to stay up to date with information and such like that. So if you guys have any other questions regarding the topic today, you can reach me at my email, which is listed here, rbon15@stpeters.edu. But thanks so much for joining us today, and I hope you enjoyed our program.